Tell us the name and which church you go to.
My name is Penny. I'm from Cornerstone Church. May I ask how to get training at NUS My Science Center?
Okay, all right. So if you can, now do I get on to Calvin to do that for me? All right. You can. There's a website. You look at My Science Center, and then you tell them you are from where, you attended this talk, and then the next training, I would like to be inside this training program. All right, we'll give that. Yeah.
Right,
I think
next.
do it twice a year. Yeah.
Hello, I'm Cassandra from Thompson Road Baptist Church. Just now the data
Which
said
Baptist
that
church, huh?
Thompson Road Baptist Church.
Thompson Road, yeah.
Yes.
Quite a number of Baptists here, right? Okay, good.
Just now you said that the cost of a dementia patient is 12,000. Is it per year, per month, or
Per year.
per year?
Per year.
Okay, that seems quite low.
There are 3 groups. So when it seems quite low, actually that one was done 10 years ago, by the medical students. So when you are mild, I think it's only about 300 per month. But once you are moderate, you see moderate dementia, they are restless, and that's when you need the cost goes up because they need to hire a domestic helper. So sometimes you cannot just hire one, you must hire 2 because it's 12 hours, 2. I know that the doctor I look after, he has 3 because because the wife, they have no kids, so the wife will help to bring up the other person to do marketing and cooking. So the cost. But once you go down the severe phase, then they are quieter. Then you need about 2 people. So the cost goes up and then down. Yeah. And also it parallels the stress of caregivers. Yeah.
Hi, Professor. My name is Li Shing from Church of Our Saviour. I just wanted to ask 2 questions. One of them is you talked about the natural history of dementia with the mild phase at 6 years. So with intervention, how much longer have you seen patients remaining in the mild phase?
Yeah.
And does it make a difference for the medium and severe phase as well? My second question is, where can we get our hands on your study and the findings?
So
Thank you.
the paper someone asking me is, that person asking me is from Cindy Hospital, then? All right. I think if you get on the website of the Mind Science Center, if you're not, you just send them a note and I will send you a paper. But actually, you go on, I think it's free. You go on to Google it and Natural History of Dementia. Put my name down there, it'll come out. I think it's free now. It's published about more than 10 years ago. It's often used now, even in the court, in the court, sometimes they discuss how. So let us say that a good case, once somebody told me that she's left already. Oh, that's right. She was a media call, she interviewed and videoed one of my patients, and the wife went on for about 20 years, So the mild phase was so long because the family were together helping out, And then at the severe phase, so it went on from 6 to about almost 10 years, and then the moderate phase, then severe phase, If good family care, mental stimulation, all this came about, All right. So there's hope for people, I was reading a book by who is that chap? Albert Camus. You heard of Albert Camus? Is the Nobel Prize for Literature in French, and he said, "Where there is no hope, we must invent hope." All right. So for doctors, say, where there is no hope, we must prescribe hope. So people will come to see us for that. We just tell people, okay, your dementia, there are many things you can do. I got a patient that came, he referred to me from another hospital. He said, a lawyer, he said, my father has got dementia. I went to see a doctor. He said, dementia. He said, nothing I can do. I said, what? This lawyer. I bring my father to see you. You say nothing you can do, and you're going to charge me for that. Then why you give my father a diagnosis when there's no treatment? Charge me and they give a diagnosis, no treatment. What's the use? So he came to see us. I said, many things you can do, to improve the quality of life of this person. All right. Okay, next one.
Very good morning, Professor. Thanks for sharing. I'm Gok Ling from Grace Assembly. So my question is...
Where is it?
Grace Assembly of God.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Even for us, as we interact with the seniors, right, what are ways we can equip ourselves such that we can pick up people is actually entering into dementia, whether they say mild or something? Because sometimes when we talk to them, it could be due to medication, just due to forgetfulness. Mm-hmm. How can we, in a way, know that some of our members or even some people we interact with are actually getting into this dementia issue so that we can help them early in their early stage? Thanks.
Wow, this question was used for a PhD project, some years ago. Someone from China came down and then asked this question. So we helped him do a study here. The first paper published on normally we do a questionnaire for the GPs, polyclinic. But then you say, if you go to the family, you're not asking the same question. So there are 4 questions. Now, next Wednesday, I think, next Wednesday, there is a webinar, isn't it? You all seen that? Dementia, the pathway to care. And there I will, the question, but this researcher has done. Anyone who is not familiar, have you seen this webinar coming up? It's free. It's been beamed as far as North America. Now people are listening, and some people ask this question, So the researchers spend a lot of time, a few years, and there are 4 important questions. Firstly, you ask the family members, the last 2 weeks, has he any memory problem? If the family member said no problem, they finish. Okay, no problem. The family said he has problem. Then you ask, was he able to focus on reading for 10 minutes or watching television 10 minutes? If it's yes or no, all right. Second one, have you missed his lost something and cannot find his things? All right. And the third one was has just been a time when you get more restlessness, periods of restlessness, agitation. Okay. And the first one is also an ability to find the words. You see, sometimes the people with dementia will say, I cannot. So one of the questions we ask the person will be, what is this called? They say, I know it's for wearing, but I forgot the word tie. Okay. So these are the things that we ask. If anyone score more than 2 points, sent to the GPs. GPs for assessment. All right. Okay. All right. So if you come on the next Wednesday, I think it's the lunchtime talk. It's Zoom across. I think Dr. Kelvin Chong has got the connection for you, if you want to.
Yeah, so I think as a follow-up, we'll send you whatever we can send you, including maybe some of this. Definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Next. I'm Tan Chong Tian from Grace Baptist Church.
All right.
You
He's
mentioned,
the surgeon I'm talking about, orthopedic surgeon.
you mentioned about the term mindfulness a few times. Can you elaborate a little bit more?
Okay, mindfulness is a very interesting, because every time you're trying to search for new ideas, and as I mentioned to you, in the world in medicine, in terms of the university, new ideas. So almost 25 years ago, I was giving a lecture to the medical students, and then someone told me, I heard you're giving some lectures. Can I teach them some mindfulness meditation? You're someone from university. So I said, okay, you can teach medical. I can listen and see what you're doing, And then the students, after, medical students, after a few minutes, they all fall asleep, They're terrible. Then the word spread to the dean. Oh, Prof lectures, he got mindfulness, So the dean rang me. Hey, how can you introduce this kind of mindfulness meditation? This is a Buddhist kind of thing, And what kind of research? I said, firstly, told him this. It's not a Buddhist. It's used many ways, Although it originates from India, something Western. But Americans are very clever, They went to India to learn on mindfulness meditation. They went back to New York, and they do a research, And then in the research, they scan the brain and publish it in the world's literature, mindfulness meditation, And then they sell their product. In America, everything must be made a product they can sell. And they make a lot of money as an institution and all that. So it is, firstly, although my Chinese friend told me, we also do it in China, So I tell my group, let us make sure it's something secular, No chanting or various things, just simple techniques, all right? But the most important thing is there any research done? So that's why we got a small grant. In fact, the grant came from a book I wrote. Anyone read my book called An Undefeated Mind? Anyone? No. So I wrote a book called An Undefeated Mind. It is the true stories of the patient I saw in Woodbridge in 1981. All all right? And I gave it to a friend of mine. He read it, he was very happy, and the following week he sent me a check, of $250,000, So the dean said, this is the most expensive book in Singapore, right? But because I wrote it during using NUS computer, I know that if the money comes to me, cannot come to me. I'll be investigated. I said, okay, I put it for research, all right? So we used to put the money for the mindfulness research. Make sure it's randomized control. Randomized control means we have like this group of people here. Those who have got even number will do one group, odd number, one more group. Odd number, we talk of health education. You talk about keep yourself mentally active, various things. Then the other group, the study group, you do teach you mindfulness meditation. All right, go through. And after 3 months, repeat the brain scan. After 6 months, brain scan again. So 3 points for the research. And then send the data for analysis and send for publication. And so people thought, hey, it's wonderful. After the publication, more people in Singapore are interested now. Because they say, hey, is this evidence-based, is research done? And the dean was very happy because the paper was published. And the university, you must have publication. You have no research, you are finished. That's why the university can be very, very stressful. All right? Some years ago, they spoke to me and asked me, we want to invite, my daughter's a final year student, we want to invite your daughter to come and join us at the university for obstetrics. We want a Chinese woman be obstetrics. I said, no, it's so stressful for me. You want this book? So you must publish something new. So after that, mindfulness had come up very high. Now we also use it for lots of young kids. Now you mentioned about the children. Social media were very anxious, very agitated. They said attention deficit. ADHD. So we thought, should we give? I was trained in England in child psychiatry, one of the hospitals in Oxford and also in London, Ormond Street. People there don't give medicine. I go to America, wow, everybody gives medicine. So because the child brain is still growing, we don't have to put in medicine. The medicine is called methylphenidate. It's like amphetamine. It can be a bit dangerous sometimes. So mindfulness is one way they're using to help these kids. So also more aware and build up confidence. But in the study, we found that you do this, they also begin to have a sense of empathy, a care for people. So this is quite interesting phenomenon. The more things can be done with that.
Okay. Next question.
So the lady here in front of you. Second question. Dr. Tan, can you give this lady? She's waiting anxiously here.
I'd like to know whether this program, the 812 Everyday program, is it run by a central organization?
Okay, all right. Very good question. Because after we've done the study, I told myself, I just want to let it go. Anyone can use it, do it. All right. So in fact, I was giving a talk at the Shangri-La Hotel during lunchtime, and I must thank all the donors who give us the money. And at the end of it, all the donors left. There's one lady who sat behind, and she's Mrs. Teo Chi Hian. She told me that whatever you do, you must extend to other people. Don't just keep it in Jurong. So that's why the program started, H2L program. But then we thought maybe we should have better control on it, make sure the quality is down there. All right? But some people say, well, why should we control by NUS? All those fellows down there are so stuck up, why you do something? So everybody want to do their own thing. But they say we like your mindfulness because the research done, you've done your gardening, research done, Tai Chi, research done, so they can take part of it. So I think that the wonderful thing about doing research is after it's done and people can use it, in the way that you want, we can follow certain rules, then it's wonderful, Because it's wonderful to be part of a big brother, an institution like university. The university often feed you in terms of new information coming in. You have a dialogue down there, you come together. They meet twice a year for all the volunteers, come to a nice lunch, and then tell you new things. We'll make sure the quality is there. Make sure that once you do something well, the public will benefit from it, and less people with depression and dementia is good for the country, isn't it? You save. In fact, I once told one of the government officials that they told me, oh, we're going to build a hospital in Woodlands. They're wonderful, Mr. So-and-so or Dr. So-and-so, build a hospital. You can put in all of $1, $2 or $3 billion, but you can't find the doctors to work down there. Where are you going to find the doctors? You don't have to build all this, you save the money and other things. Yeah? So they can join the NUS, right, or they can do their own. Some people say they'll do our own. All right. In fact, one group, RSVP, is it? Yes, they have it. They said we want to introduce dancing. We enjoy dancing, you know. So okay, then you do your own. You do dancing, right? But they come and join us now and then.
Okay, thank you. Next question.
Okay, just the second question I wanted to ask is, all these activity interventions, can they reverse the dementia?
So that's right. I mean, in the idea of this research is taken from our NUH memory clinic. You know. Now, whether reverse dementia to normality, wow, I think Dr. Tan will do a PhD with you. I mean, all right. But I know that there's going to be a court case coming up. I'll tell people thought that Alzheimer's disease will continue to go down slowly. You know, go down slowly. It's like, you know, but another kind of dementia called vascular dementia, you can drop down and it can remain for a long period of time, especially the hypertension dementia. You know. But in a few cases, we found that I was asked to assess a doctor, you know, after a stroke. You know, the family had intense therapy every day. You know, there's a speech therapy coming in, physiotherapy, music therapies, art therapies. The family is very united. After 3 years, you came up to almost normal. You know, oh, good man. Once you have a dementia, you have no mental capacity. You cannot sign check anymore. Now she come back again. Her speech not as good, but she can think. She can know, you know about financial issues. Good question, but so far, if you can improve the quality of life, I think we are quite happy, and there's less problem on that. But total reversal, a bit more difficult, but can try on that.
Hi, for members with dementia,
Are
right?
you from the same church?
No, I'm from Sengkang Methodist Church.
Sega, is it?
Sengkang Methodist.
Oh, Sengkang, okay.
Yes. All right. So, what can we do in church, right? So that for members with dementia, they can actually attend service meaningfully.
Wow, good question, man. All right. In fact, next Wednesday, webinar is on dementia pathway to care. After dementia, what can you do? You know, so people always a sense of helplessness. You know, they call it therapeutic nihilism. There's nothing I can do. You know, so if someone have early dementia, can they attend church? Is it all right? And carry on the service. I know from my church we have a few people like that. So and sometimes they nod off, but we have not done any study. I'm sorry to tell you that. Maybe Kelvin is the second PhD for you.
Actually, we are working on. We've talked to quite a lot of groups, and we've discovered there's a lot of innovation out there. Right?
Yes,
it may not be in the main service, but there are people who are already going to members' homes and starting services there. You know, in a small sense, lah. Yeah.
Good, because if you ask around here, there's some pastors here, some church people. Yeah. Each church maybe 3 or 4. You may have a big sample size of 50. You get ready around 50 is good sample size for study. You know, whether what level they are, mild, moderate, easier, and what kind of familiar songs that they're familiar with, they enjoy. And then they have music reminiscence. I find that music is the one that most people are interested in. I don't have the answer. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Prof. Can I ask you a question? Because I think it's about frequency, right? So your study does show that it does decrease dementia as well as depression rates. But the question is how, if you do it one-off, does it happen? And then if how much frequency do you have to apply? And then also, is it like, from the menu of 5 or 6 items that you research, right? Is it done in combination? All these questions, because I think very practically, some of our churches already have got some of these activities, right? But the question is, you want to really, really align yourself with the research so that it actually does have significant outcomes, right? So can you help us with the answer?
Kelvin always asks such challenging questions. So, okay, the Jurong study is just a combination of the menu have about 4 or 5 techniques that we use then. You know. Although my researcher says then it's not scientific. One must just do art, another just do music. But I say life is not like that, isn't it? You cannot tell the person cannot do exercise. Me cannot do exercise for 1 year. This is nonsense, you know. Right? So, or cannot listen to music for 1 year. You're comparing music and art, you know. Oh, people enjoy it. It could be a combination of all this, you know. And in the group they have it for about 2 hours session, you know, over at the Changkat site. And they have half an hour. We realize that old people, this group you're fantastic, you know, 2 hours you're still here. You're right. We find that old people, 15 minutes, then they get restless, you know attention deficit, you know. So 15 minutes. So we've told people that in health education, keep to not more than 20 minutes. Then they're very intense. They're a small group, easier, very intense, you know. Then after they go to their exercise, 20 minutes, their music, about half an hour, gardening a bit longer, all right? So they can do all together in one. In most of the study, they do it, most of the places here do it once a week. But if at home you can do it yourself, carry on, you know. Yeah. Ultimately, it must be a way to measure outcome. Maybe up once in a year or once in 2 years, we can send you quickly questionnaires, and digital online questionnaires, you can chalk it up.
All right, next question.
Sorry, hi. Daphne Yee from International Baptist Church. Could you
This is
comment?
not Apex Harmony Lodge.
Apex Harmony Lodge is a nursing home that specializes in dementia care. We're the only facility in Singapore that is 100% dementia residents. Would you spend just a few minutes commenting on the spiritual aspects that we should be considering regarding dementia?
On social aspect of dementia.
Spiritual.
Spiritual. Oh, well, that question you asked Kelvin. I asked me. Kelvin, can you help me out with that?
Yeah, sure. Actually, this is one of the big things that St. Luke's Elder Care is focusing on. And then also Singapore Bible College, we are also thinking through that. In fact, if you know the organization KIN, Koinonia Inclusive Network, they're also a little bit into dementia, and we are hosting the first Dementia Spirituality Conference. They are hosting it, but we are venue host. I think it's 30th of June, 31st of June, 30th of June. Oh, sorry, it's May. Yeah, okay. So it's going to happen here at our college, but it's going to be run. So we kind of, we are sponsoring the venue. And we're bringing in John Swinton, who is a fantastic theologian, talking about spirituality and dementia. Yeah, I've written an article for St. Luke's Elder Care on music and spirituality, because that's an area that I have sidebar interests. Yeah. Okay, but I think the other question would be, your regular spirituality needs for seniors. That is very often done in the context of home, or sometimes in the context of, if they are in a nursing home, whatever opportunities, there are efforts to inject some of this into the spiritual life of dementia sufferers. And it's across the religions, because, very often, if you have a chaplain in St. Luke's Elder Care, for example, you can't just be all biased towards one, right? And we've heard many, many stories of how spirituality is inputted and, kind of shared in the different contexts, okay? But it's a big discussion. I don't think this is the right forum to have all the answers expected, Okay, sure. But it's a great question, and it's a very important question. I do want to acknowledge that. Thank you so much for that question.
I think something that we can think about, and then And people can do some, just like this book by William Wan. So William told me he has no background in gerontology, but he knows aging is a big issue. So he goes around asking us some questions. And some of the questions, I wrote something for him. And just like another book written by Bishop Robert Solomon. Yes, he borrowed some of our ideas and put into an interesting book, right? Something with spirituality and aging, which I think is very, so it's good to write something. Right?
Just now you mentioned about spiritual course in dementia, am I right? I'm just wonder whether in future Singapore Bible College will have such a course in certificate or degree course.
We are working on it.
Wow.
Yeah. Watch that space.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah.
Any other question? We have time for one or two more.
We can take some of the questions there. What is the difference between mental illness and dementia? Is dementia a mental illness?
All right. So, well, people thought mental illness must be something like depression. So, dementia has something pathological in the brain. So, dementia is now which territory? In England, at one time, dementia is looked after by the psychiatrist. In America, it's by the neurologist because they look at the brain, that. So we thought it's difficult to just divide somebody into it's both the mind and the brain, isn't it? They say the mind must be the psychiatrist, but we thought maybe you should combine it all together. So at the memory clinic, we have a psychiatrist, the neurologist, the geriatrician, the psychologist, and the nurse together, or the occupational therapist combined. What else do you have there?
How about the other one?
Need
to care, caregivers.
That's right. Caregivers for dementia. So next Wednesday again, there is a group of people. There are 3 people talking about caring for their parents who have dementia. And there's someone who's even putting an idea of having an institute for caregivers. Caregivers, lots of issues. Only the cost of it is very high. The own mental health also affected, and create problems within the family. Right. So I think next Wednesday you answer some of your question for you.
Dr. Kua, Wai Fan from Bethesda Hall, Ang Mo Kio. My takeaway today was that you said dementia is a very powerful word.
Powerful diagnosis.
Diagnosis. So because I hear this word thrown around a lot, and I'm just thinking whether it is necessary to say, hey guys, don't float that word so simply, because you can lose a lot of power if you are really diagnosed. What do you think?
So even the Chinese word is Laoren what written. It's not. So the Taiwanese has changed it. Even in America, dementia is a Greek word. It means your brain, you are gaga. So the American call it a major neurocognitive disorder, something a bit more respectable, right? So don't tell me, it's demented, right? So, have anyone seen this book? I wrote some years ago, and it's a won award in speaking out for mental illness. It's about stigma, all right? And this book was actually the idea of our late President S.R. Nathan. He read my book, Letter from America, and he rang me and said, can I invite you for a meal, for the chat? And he said, you people publish papers in research, we don't read them. Can you put it in a simple book that I can read, So I'm going to give this book to Calvin, or me for the college here, and it's for you, Calvin.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. He has done a lot of hard work, the last 1 month.
I put the link in Slido, but I don't think that helps. I think all you have to do is just search for it. It's not so difficult to find. And I think as a follow-up, we will also send the link. We will try, okay? Yeah. We have another 5 minutes. Any other questions?
The 4-digit number again?
Okay, can we say it together? Okay, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 1, 7.
Wow, good,
Okay.
good.
Pass.
Pass. All of you pass.
Sorry, was there another question that? Sorry? Oh. Oh, there are more questions. Yeah, maybe can we?
Would you comment what?
There's a lot of questions. Yeah. Yeah, most of them are zero. That's the. We go down a bit down to the highest vote ones. No. I mean the other direction. Yeah, the next after the 4s and 5s.
These are from people here, then?
Okay, would you comment the role of epigenetics and genes that predispose toward dementia?
So the researcher somewhere, right? Right. So at one time you thought a certain kind of a gene called the ApoE4. If it is kind of gene, then they are more prone. But we found that quite a number, 1/3 of people in Singapore with these genes. It doesn't mean you have this gene, therefore you will have dementia or Alzheimer's disease. But besides the gene, your diet, the other illness, all come together. So I talk about epigenetics. The environment play a big role. Okay, all right, it's a big word. What's the other one?
Maybe we have time for just one question and a high note on tea.
All right, tea. All right. Tea is the research we've done. I'm sure after we've done the tea, then my friends in NTU, Professor Houston Kua said, hey, how about coffee? All right. So we didn't do the coffee study. So whatever people want, we make sure it's evidence-based and do it the proper way. That we're not sponsored by a coffee company and all that. So, yeah. But someone asked earlier on, there are counselors here. Is counseling helpful? So there are two groups. So helping out the person with dementia. Now, how to break bad news, So you tell people, oh, you have dementia, finish it. He won't come see you again. You're all frightened. Some people even feel so depressed. There's a link, there's association between dementia and depression. The first part of the illness, they become so depressed they might kill themselves, So it's how to break. So often I tell people, even especially it's more difficult if I see some of my professor friends or doctors who have dementia. I often tell them that you have a memory problem. Memory, but there are many things you can do. So tell them the good news first. Don't say just like I teach the students like breaking bad news on cancer. Don't say, oh, you have cancer, terrible illness, you take this drug now, you will lose your hair, everything finished, you no more sex drive and all that. No one take a medicine. So we'll tell them this medicine is good. You will string the cancer, you can breathe better, So similarly, like in dementia, to tell them this is very early dementia. From the NUH study, they found that there are many things can do to improve the quality of life, All right, so to help them through, because they go through a depressed phase, All right, and second group is also the family. Meet the family, talk to the family, and what can be done. Give them information about what is dementia, what are the stages, what can they do, where to seek help, in the community itself, where are the various groups they can have group therapy, We did a study in which we compare two groups. We tell one group, every week somebody will send an email to find out how you're getting on. Okay. Second group, my social worker will give you a ring. Now tell me which group improved better after 3 months. E-counseling or telephone counseling? That's right. So you see, a very old contraption invented by Alexander Graham Bell 150 years ago is still helpful, is the human voice. So I tell my friend, don't be afraid of AI, Don't be afraid of your voice, and you go and talk to them, and you'll meet them better, So give them this, help them out. So as they go through life, and we talk about anticipatory grief. They're going through a grief, the loss and all that, the loss of life, even the caregivers, someone who is my father or mother, who is a tower of strength, now seem to be losing. So you must help them out to accept these changes, So a lot of things instead of just counting, it's called psychological therapy. Calvin, I have to break off. Yeah, there's a meeting in NUS. Yeah.